Did anyone ever tell you that turning 80 doesn't just come with more candles on the cake, but with a quiet shift in how life feels? Even those who've always stood tall, proud, and self-reliant often find themselves facing unexpected truths. Not just the obvious things, aches in the knees or changes in your eyesight. No, these are deeper, more emotional, more invisible. In today's video, we're going to talk about 5 hard truths that show up after 80. They're not always talked about, yet they affect nearly everyone who reaches this milestone. These aren't things you can measure in a doctor's office or fix with a new prescription. They're changes in how the world treats you, how you view your own past, and how the future feels different than it once did. Some of these may already feel familiar. Others may catch you off guard. But by the end of this video, our hope is that you feel more seen, not less. Because when we can name what we're going through, we take back some of our power. Let's begin. Number 1. Conversations become quieter, even when you're still in the room. One of the first things many people notice after 80 isn't silence itself, but how it creeps in during everyday moments. You're at a family gathering and realize you're listening more than you're speaking. Or worse, you speak, but no one seems to notice. It's not always intentional. People get distracted, they rush, they assume, but it happens. And what hurts isn't the quiet, it's what it represents. A sense that your voice isn't sought out like it once was, that your input doesn't carry the same weight. Not because you've changed, but because the world has shifted its focus to faster, newer, louder. What few people realize is that elders often carry the most thoughtful words in the room, because they've lived through more. But in a society obsessed with the next thing, wisdom is often mistaken for silence. So here's what you need to know. You still have the right to speak, to be heard, to share. Whether it's a memory, a joke, a lesson, or just a thought, you deserve a seat at the table. And sometimes, just gently reminding people that your voice matters can shift everything. Number 2. Emotions get stronger, not weaker. There's a belief out there that the older we get, the more emotionally tough we become. And in some ways, it's true. You've endured loss, hardship, change. You've built resilience. But what surprises many people after 80 is how raw emotions can still feel. Grief shows up in unexpected places. A familiar song can make your chest tighten. A visit from a grandchild can leave you in tears for hours afterward, not out of sadness, but out of overwhelming love. There's something about living a long life that strips away the filters. You feel things deeper, more honestly. Even small moments, watching birds from a window or touching an old photo, can hit you with surprising force. And that's not weakness. That's humanity. The longer we live, the more beauty and heartbreak we carry in our hearts. It's okay to cry. It's okay to feel deeply. You've earned the right to be moved by life again and again. So don't apologize for it. Emotions aren't a sign of fragility. They're proof that you're still very much alive inside. If you're still watching and this part resonates with you, comment number 2 below. I'd love to know you're still with me. Number 3. Time feels different, both faster and slower. Something strange happens with time after 80. Days can feel long, but years feel short. You might look back and wonder how it's already been a decade since your last big family reunion, or how your grandchildren suddenly look like adults. But at the same time, a quiet day at home can feel stretched out, almost endless. The clock ticks a little louder. The hours sometimes feel more noticeable than they used to. This shift can be disorienting. You may find yourself spending more time in reflection, wondering what you did with all those years. You may even feel a sense of urgency to tie up loose ends, say things that were left unsaid, or simply find peace in parts of your story. This is natural. When we know we've already seen most of our years, every moment starts to carry a little more meaning. So instead of fearing that change, try to embrace it. Let it remind you to savor the small things, the laughter over coffee, the smell of rain, the the sound of someone you love saying your name. Time may feel different now, but it's still yours, every minute of it. Number 4, your identity starts to evolve again. Many people think that by 80, you've already figured out who you are, that your identity is set in stone. But something unexpected happens. As certain roles fade, you may no longer be working, no longer parenting day to day, or no longer partnered. You start facing the question, who am I now? This can feel like both a loss and an opportunity. You may mourn the parts of your identity that brought meaning and structure, but you also get a chance to redefine yourself on your terms. Maybe you become a mentor, a storyteller, an artist, a quiet observer who finally takes time to enjoy what was always too rushed before. Or maybe you're simply someone learning to just be without having to do or prove anything. The truth is, personal growth doesn't stop when you hit a certain age. In fact, many people discover more about themselves in their 80s than ever before, because finally, there's space. So if you've felt uncertain lately about who you are, know this. That question isn't a crisis, it's a doorway, and what lies on the other side might surprise you, in the best possible way. If this part of the message speaks to your heart, please comment number 4 below. It helps us know this is reaching the right people. Number 5. The mirror reflects a stranger, but the soul remains familiar. Let's talk about something few people mention, what it's like to look in the mirror after 80. There are days when you catch your reflection and think, who is that? The face you see might not match how you feel inside. You still feel curious, still want to learn, to love, to laugh. But the mirror shows lines, sagging skin, slower movements, and it can be jarring. This disconnect between your inner world and your physical appearance can lead to a quiet sort of grief. Not because you want to be 30 again, but because you miss feeling aligned. But here's a truth that matters. Your essence, your spirit, hasn't aged in the same way. The part of you that dreams, that feels joy, that loves deeply, it's still you, and no wrinkle can take that away. So be kind to the reflection in the mirror. That face has smiled through decades, cried in love and loss, and witnessed a world that has changed more than most people realize. You may not always recognize the body, but never forget. The soul inside it is still as rich, wise, and vibrant as ever. We've just walked through 5 powerful and sometimes painful truths that tend to emerge after 80. They're not always obvious. They don't always get talked about. But they matter. Whether it's the shifting of time, the fading of roles, or the aching of being seen less often, these are experiences that can shape us just as deeply as anything we've lived before. But there is strength in naming them. There's peace in acknowledging what's real. And there's power in knowing you're not alone. So tell me, which of these 5 truths stood out most to you? Have you felt any of these changes in your own life? Or noticed them in someone close to you? Leave a comment below and share one thing you're going to do differently after hearing today's message. Whether it's being gentler with yourself, reaching out to someone, or simply speaking up more, you never know who might be encouraged by your voice. If this video resonated with you, please like, subscribe, and share it with someone who needs to hear it. Your support helps us continue to bring thoughtful, honest content for those in the season of life where wisdom truly shines. Thank you for being here. We're honored to walk this path with you. Until next time.